Hello friends, welcome to Optra Automation. In this video, we are going to discuss CLI on Windows. What exactly is the AWS CLI? Basically, it's a command line interface for Amazon Web Services. So let's see what exactly it is, why we need it, what are the use cases for the CLI. CLI allows you to use the programmatic access. What is programmatic access? In the previous videos, we have discussed that there are two ways to access your Amazon Web Services account. One is the Amazon Web Services console, that is AWS console, that is the GUI mode. Another one is the programmatic access, that is the CLI mode. When we used to create the users in IAM, there are two options, whether we are enabling the CLI mode, that is the programmatic access for an individual, or we are simply providing the GUI Amazon console access. We have the flexibility to provide both the access for an individual or an entity. It is an ideal approach for developers. Why it is an ideal approach? Because developers are developing their applications and they most of the time they are dealing with the API calls. So to make the proper communication from the API calls to the AWS resources, command line interface is the best suited way. And you can make the communication with the AWS resources using command line and API calls. So let's see how we can install it and how we can access the AWS CLI on the Windows machine. Okay, I'm simply jumping into the Google, and in the Google you can simply type AWS CLI. All right, here I am in the Google. In the search box, I simply entered AWS CLI. The very first link, that is AWS command line interface Amazon AWS. Click on it. It will open a web page which will provide us the information about the command line interface. And in the extreme right side, we have an option for the operating system, Windows or Mac and Linux. It's totally depend upon your choice. If being a developer, which particular operating system, which particular machine you are using for your development work. Are you using Windows, Linux, Mac? So I'm using Windows and I'm using Windows 10. So I'm going to install the 64-bit. It will take a couple of minutes and I already downloaded it. I already installed it to save the time for this particular video. So let it be downloaded first. After that, I'll show you the couple of 2 to 3 steps how we can install it. It's a very basic, simple installation like any other Microsoft or any other simple software. You have to simply click on next and the license agreement. After that, you have to simply provide the path where you are going to install it. That's it. But make sure that the path is very important because if you are modifying that particular path, you should know where exactly it has been installed, because after the installation, when you are trying to make the communication from your AWS resources, you have to navigate to that particular path first. Then only you can use the AWS commands. Okay, it has been downloaded successfully. Double click on it and it will allow us to install the software on the Windows machine. Click on next. It's already installed in my machine, so I'm not doing anything as of now. Simply click on cancel, click on yes, and it's finished. It has been installed in the program files Amazon CLI. Once it's installed successfully on your machine, you can simply go to the run, open the command prompt. Let me just give me a minute so that I can increase the font size. Okay, let me navigate to the path where exactly it has been installed. cd program files, and then the cd Amazon, cd CLI. Just give me a minute. cd AWS, all right, AWS CLI. So this is the path where exactly we have installed the CLI setup. If I directly hitting the AWS command in this particular window, and it will not allow me. Let me try this. Let's say AWS S3 LS. It is a simple command to listing the S3 buckets in your region. Okay, it is not doing anything. Generally, it prompts an error message. So let me configure the AWS. Before configuring, I'll show you how we can create a user in IAM and enable the programmatic access. Okay, so I am logged in into the Amazon console. Go to the IAM under the security, identity and compliance. We can simply create one user. Click on users, click on add user. Simply type a name as Rambo. There are the two options for the access type. One is the programmatic, another one is the AWS management console. So as of now, I am giving both the access and auto-generated password. Click on next permissions. I'm not setting permissions as of now. Simply creating the user. That's it. User has been created successfully. Now there is an option. It is showing secret access key and password and access key ID. There is an option to download CSV. Make sure that whenever you create any user with programmatic access, you need to download that particular file because it is important to log in into the AWS console using programmatic access. I'm simply downloading it because it is provides us the information about the user secret access key and access key ID. Okay, let me open it. It consists of username Rambo, auto-generated password, access key ID, and a secret access key ID, and it is a console login link. So just move on to the command prompt. Okay, here I'm in the command prompt and simply type AWS configure. It will ask the programmatic ID, secret access key ID, and an access key ID. Yes, it is asking AWS access key ID. So just copy the access key ID from the file that we have downloaded. I simply copied it in my clipboard, paste it here. Now it is asking AWS secret access key. Again, copy the secret access key to the clipboard and paste it here. Now, default region is already selected US East 1. If it is not selected for you, you need to make sure that in you have to mention the region name properly in which region you are planning to do the work. If I'm not changing it as of now, so I'm simply hitting enter. Default output format, again, it is selected for me, it is TXT. If it is not selected for you, then you have to enter manually. Now, good to go. We have configured everything. After that, let's say if now I'm running AWS S3 LS, I'm simply listing the S3 buckets in AWS US East 1 region. It will show me the bucket name on the console. Okay, list bucket access is denied. Just give me a minute. Perfect. This is again a troubleshooting step. Any idea? Anyone have any idea why I'm getting this error message? We have simply created a user Rambo, enabled the programmatic access, downloaded the CSV file, and after that on a command prompt we are configuring the AWS, we have provided the access key ID, secret access key, region name, and output format is a text. After that, it is saying that error occurred, access denied. That means there is a try of a connection using your machine and Amazon Web Services console, but that particular user, that Rambo, is do not have access to list the buckets. Where exactly is the mistake? What we missed it? We created the users, but we haven't provided the permissions, nothing. It's simply a raw user without any access rights. So I'm again going to the Amazon console. Okay, here I am on the Amazon console. Let me go to the groups. We have a group of admin team. We have already one user, John, and let me add one more user here. Add users to group. We have Rambo here. I'm adding Rambo to the group, and the group has admin access privileges. In the permissions, you can see administration access. So now if we are trying to do the same command, listing of S3 buckets in AWS region, it will show definitely. I'm back to my console, and let me type the same command again. It will take 1 or 2 minutes of time. Now let's see. See the magic. It is showing my tiny bucket. I'll show you over the GUI mode as well. We have only this particular bucket in Amazon Web Services. I'm on the console. Let me go to the S3 and I'll show you we have the same bucket over there. Go to S3. See, we have my tiny bucket under the US East End. So basically, there are two options. Either you can work with the GUI mode or you can work with the CLI mode. It's totally depending upon your job profile. If you are an administrator, if you are working on the services side, if you are working for the operations, obviously you are mainly 90 to 95% dealing with the GUI mode. But if you are a developer, then obviously you are dealing more than 90% with the CLI mode. So in this particular video, we have discussed how we can install and how we can use the CLI on Windows machine. That's it for this lecture, guys. Click on like and subscribe to get the latest update on the AWS cloud computing. Thank you.